Cottage in Mount Vernon. It's the Griffin Insurance Monday Night Sports Talk Show. So get ready as Tyler Mathias talks fall sports with all the coaches and players from the area. The Monday Night Sports Talk Show is brought to you by our title sponsor, Griffin Insurance, as well as Pizza Cottage, Buckeye Stoves, Prescription Turf Care, Page One Group, Knox County Veteran Services, and Cubbage Electric and Construction. Now, here's Tyler Mathias live on WMVO Radio, as well as our Facebook and YouTube channel with the Griffin Insurance Monday Night Sports Talk Show.
All right, thank you, and welcome into the Griffin Insurance Monday Night Sports Talk Show here on, of course, a Monday night live from Pizza Cottage in Mount Vernon. And this is our final show of the fall season, and we are excited to have Danville Volleyball at the beginning of our program. And Ed Honabarger's back there, too, and he's going to chat with us on the second half. Curtis is even going to get out here, so make sure that you watch in for that second half as well. But we appreciate Danville Volleyball joining us here, and Morgan Spittler is the head coach. We thank her for joining us. Zoe Neiselt, right? I got that right. All right. Appreciate her joining us. And Avery Mezzi, and thank you, ladies, for spending some time with us here on the program. Well, your guys' season actually ended a couple of weeks ago. And but we wanted to recap a little bit, talk a little bit about your season, because we haven't had a lot of volleyball on this year. I know Centerburg joined us, and they won the conference, the Knoxmore Athletic Conference this year. But you guys, 10-12, 6-8 in the KMAC, finished 5th in the Knoxmore Athletic Conference. Morgan Spittler, and if that name sounds familiar, that's because Scott has been on the program, and you're his daughter. And you also call on Friday night, so you already, this is old hat for you. You know what you're doing. All right, well. Let's talk a little bit about you first here, Morgan. Second year, just finished up your second year. What brought you over to Danville to coach for the Danville Blue Devils? I mean, we were kind of talking before the show started that you went to, Lucas and things. But what brought you to Danville to coach volleyball for the Lady Blue Devils?
I also teach at Danville as well, but when I was offered both the special education teaching job in the high school and then an opportunity to build the Danville volleyball program, it's something I couldn't pass up. I have some family in Danville that I'm really, really close with that I love, so I'm just very happy to give back to this community, and it's just something that I was very interested in, and I have tons of support both athletically and academically with my admin, and I'm just very grateful to be at Danville.
Now, you played softball in college. Did you play volleyball in high school as well? Or?
I did play volleyball in high school as well.
What position did you play? Not that this is going to matter. I mean, we've talked about it before. I won't know what's
for volleyball?
Yeah.
I was a setter.
Okay. Where's that on the court?
It's
I don't know a lot. Listen, I don't know a lot about volleyball. I was the guy who thought you put the number behind the, No,
it's like the person that gets the second touch, the one that never gets any credit. So, kind of the same way when I was in softball because I was a catcher, the person that just never gets any credit. So,
all right, there you
go. I'm okay with that.
Well, and now I know that you guys don't put the hands behind the back. That's beach volleyball, right, Curtis? Okay, that's beach volleyball. Right? You don't put the fingers behind the back to call a play or something, right?
I mean, we can do that sometimes. Sometimes we turn around and do signs under our shirts. It just it all depends on whatever anyone wants to do.
Now, they told me earlier that bump, set, spike is no longer a thing. Is that the case? You don't say bump, set, spike anymore?
I mean, people say it, yeah.
Okay. See, maybe Abby was lying to me. Abby was teasing me.
It's just... I mean, so I guess it's not as common. I just usually people call hits like kills.
Oh, okay.
So
I am kind of
old school. And a pass instead of a bump.
Okay, so I am still kind of old school.
But usually that's just a cheer that student sections do.
Yeah, I just got to catch back up here.
That's okay.
But let's look back this past season for you and recap. You guys finished 10-12, as we mentioned, 6-8 in the KMAC 5th place. Was this a veteran team? Was this a team that – what were kind of some of the expectations going into the year and just some of the highlights of this past season for you guys?
So I lost some front row players and some back row players last year, but everyone that came back was on varsity, which was nice. But I also had some young ones as well. I had 2 freshmen that started for me. But the majority of my squad was juniors. I only had 3 seniors on the court. Avery being one of them, Aaron Kreider, one of my hitters and DSs, and then Kaylee Sheldon, my libero. But all 3 of those girls lettered last year, and they came back for varsity.
So when you look back at the season, what were some of the things you could go, hey, we made some strides maybe as the season went on, and some of the things you say, hey, as we get into the off season, some of these kids that are coming back need to work on so you have success and get over the hump, get over that 500 mark in Danville volleyball.
Yeah, I think that this year we definitely did a lot of skill set things. Our big thing that we did this year was just no energy vampires. So if some adversity happened, like as a team, we were always staying positive. There was no time to be negative because volleyball is a game of mistakes. Somebody has to make a mistake in order for another team to get a point, or somebody has to make 25 mistakes for somebody to win. So it's bound to happen, and just getting over that hump is something that we really wanted to focus on this year. And in my opinion, I think that I am 100% satisfied with the way that we did that, and we continued to grow each and every game. And we came back from whether it was a loss or a win, and we worked even harder the next day, so I was really proud of that.
Zoe Neisel, we appreciate you joining us. You said you're a senior, right?
I'm a junior.
Junior, okay. See, I got them mixed up. This happens all the time. And so you look back at your season, and what stood out to you from maybe some of the things Coach told you before the year, and you say, hey, this is what I wanted to accomplish. Some of the things that maybe you say, yeah, I was able to accomplish that. Some of the things you maybe need to work on here in the offseason.
I would say just as a team, I think we grew really well. I think we bonded together. So I think that kind of just helped everyone kind of accomplish their goals and stuff. I would say something like to work on for next year. Maybe just having better connections on and off the court, being a better leader vocally, I think is something I could definitely improve on for my next season.
Let me ask you something. Is the Devil Dog game, is it kind of the same thing in volleyball? Or is it a little different?
Yeah, it's definitely kind of the same.
Okay.
I don't think it's as quite as big, but it's always our Volley for the Cure game, so we like to come out and support the people that go through that every year.
No. We appreciate Zoe joining us. Avery Mezzi, a senior, right?
Yes.
Looking back at your senior year, what was maybe the biggest highlight, biggest thing that stood out to you from your last year playing volleyball at Danville?
My biggest highlight would definitely be the whole season. This season was something that I've never had before.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel like I worked really hard this season to get where I am and where I was, and especially as the team. My big thing this year, I wanted to be a leader. I wanted to be a captain, and I got there.
Yeah.
I feel like this year was definitely, as Zoe said too, everybody was a family. There was so much more connection than we've ever had.
Yeah. Again, we appreciate Danville Volleyball joining us here. That connection aspect that she was just mentioning, Avery was just mentioning there, that's really important, especially when you play volleyball, because you got to know where somebody's at. You got to trust they're going to be at that place where they're supposed to be. There's a lot of that connection that makes to have that success for your team, isn't it?
Yeah, we work a lot on just being able to bond with each other as a team. I mean, from the get-go, I am somebody who represents family, accountability, character, toughness, and selfless. It's like our facts. That's what we call it. And if we can embody those at all times, whether it's on and off the court, then we're doing something right as a program. Mm-hmm. And that has to do with, doing your 1/6 on the court and being able to come off the court and be on the bench and do your job there as well. And everyone this year, I thought, did a great job of fulfilling that role, and it's something they took pride in.
You every year there's some time where you can kind of see where the growth comes at some point in the season. Where was that point maybe for you guys this year? Was there a certain game? Was it a certain match? When did you maybe see, hey, they're putting it together? Maybe it didn't happen all the time. That happens with our high schoolers, right? But when did you feel like maybe they really put it all together and had maybe that complete game that you're always looking for?
There's one game in specific that I can just think of, and that was our very first Mount Gilead game, and just the comfort that I felt in my girls to just sit back and almost watch them just be a team and succeed and handle adversity was just amazing. And that was our halfway point. So it was a perfect time to have it. We switched some things up. We got things on schedule, and we were able to just capitalize on that. And I thought that from that game moving forward, everything that we did after that, it always was improving. There was never any setbacks, and if it was minor, because we don't ever like to ride the roller coaster. We like to be on a straight wave, and if we do have adversity, we hurry up and we fix it. So.
For you, Zoe, was there a point in this season where you kind of felt like things started to click a little bit? Obviously, you guys finished 5th place, kind of middle of the road there in the conference, but did you feel like, hey, this is a team we can be if we put it all together, and you could see where that success could be when you guys do put it all together?
Yeah, I think I would have to agree with Coach Spittler on that one. I feel like our Mount Gilead game, whenever we went to their place, I feel like the changes we made in practice those couple of days before, I think we put in the work, and then it kind of just showed off. And then after that, I feel like we just realized that we were capable of everything. And then after that, we were just kind of on a high, I think.
For you, Avery, did you feel at any point where you kind of felt that shift where you felt, okay, we are making a move in the right direction, and this could be a season in which there is some growth with this program?
I would say definitely right before, like, the second half of the season. We were always, like, we would have a game, and then we'd get back to practice the next day because something wouldn't work, and we would try to change the rotation. And we would always – we're very open with Coach, too, so we'll be like, no, I don't think this rotation is going to work. Or she always, like, lets us have our input, too, about what we think is going to work. So I feel like definitely during, like, in the middle of the season, we finally found out, like, what that rotation was.
Yeah. And how important is that to kind of, everybody knows kind of their role, right? And they know where they need to be, and that kind of brings it all together, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I would never ask that question to girls I didn't trust.
Yeah.
And the fact that I can look at these girls and the ones that I had on my squad and say, what do you guys think? This is how I'm feeling. This is what change I want to make. How are we feeling about this? Because I'm not the one on the court. Mm-hmm. They're the ones that have the connection, and I want to give them that responsibility because at some point in life, they're going to have to make choices like that. And if they can feel confident in a choice like that and then go perform on it, I feel like it's going to better their skill 100%. Now, at the end of the day, they know that I'm going to make the final call, but I'm always going to listen what they have to say, and I'm going to take their input very seriously. And obviously, we worked together, and the second half of the season was very successful for us.
We're going to talk a little bit about that second half of the season, including the tournament game, and then a little bit about you guys need to work on in the offseason, and, of course, some accolades that you guys were able to accrue as well. We do want to thank Griffin Insurance, Buckeye Stove, Prescription Turf Care, Coverage Electric, and Construction. Page One Group with the mugs that I did remember, Gary. Knox County Veteran Services and Pizza Cottage. Certainly appreciate all of them, the hospitality from Pizza Cottage, the great staff here. We really appreciate all that they do for us here. We're going to take this break. We'll come back, talk some more with Danville Volleyball. It's the Griffin Insurance Monday Night Sports Talk Show, final show of the fall here on WMBO.
This is Lorraine from Buckeye Stoves. Let's get ready to rumble. We love football season, and that means stove season is right around the corner. Buckeye Stoves. Check out our showroom with live displays on State Route 95 in Fredericktown. We offer 22 brands of stoves, fireplaces, and inserts. Wood, pellet, gas, and coal. BuckeyeStoves.com. Buckeye Stoves, the cozy way to save.
So I got this neighbor, Dave. He was kind of curious about my lawn. Grumbled that he bought a patch fix for his yard. Well, it didn't fix the patch. I tried to tell him, call Prescription Turf Care. Come aerate and overseed in the fall. You get a nice, thick, healthy yard next year that goes great with that nice, thick, juicy steak right here. Call 740-397-1203 and ask about a free no-obligation estimate. And remember, if you want a healthy lawn and all the weeds gone, call Prescription Turf Care.
Call Prescription Turf Care.
Page One Group in beautiful Mount Vernon has your best interest in mind when it comes to you and your printing needs. Whether it's printing, design, laser engraving, or sublimation, there isn't a texture we can't print on. Promotional products are how you keep people coming back, and that's where we come in. Your business is our business. Page One Group, open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Call 740-397-0262 and visit us on Scott Road.
Pizza Cottage in Mount Vernon is one of 11 pizza cottages in Ohio. They are among the nation's best performing pizzerias and ranked in Pizza Today. The finest ingredients is used daily. Treat your customers and employees like family and always give back to the community. Offering not only takeout but also dine-in and full bar. Book your group parties today. Find Pizza Cottage on Facebook or go to pizza-cottage.com to begin your journey of tastes.
Veterans serving veterans. That's what we do here at Knox County Veteran Services. Hi, I'm Kevin Henthorne, your Executive Director.
And I'm Financial Coordinator Melissa Shank.
And we're here to meet the needs of Knox County veterans and their families.
We can help with emergency financial assistance,
filing of disability and pension claims, VA healthcare enrollment, and even transportation to VA healthcare facilities.
Please give us a call at 740-393-6742 or stop in and see us at our new location at 105 East Chestnut Street in Mount Vernon.
You never thought your child would get their own home so soon, but it needs new wiring pulled and the kitchen could use a makeover. It's time to get in touch with Cubbage Electric and Construction. Give Brian and his team a call at 740-627-8004.
Cubbage Electric and Construction is a proud sponsor for this year's fall sports.
Cubbage Electric and Construction, 740-627-8004.
All right, welcome back to Pizza Cottage here in Mount Vernon. Final show of the fall. Once again, I wanted to shout out to Gary Cooper. That's Gary with 2 R's. Been back there every time so far. We really appreciate what Gary does back there. And Derek's even joined us the last couple of times. We appreciate him. And then Curtis has been here almost every time. And because he's been here so much, we're going to let Curtis come on the other side tonight. So we got to give him an opportunity there. Now, Morgan says she's going to call in Friday night to talk about football. And she does it every Friday night to talk with us. But no, we appreciate her joining us to talk about Danville. And I know she's a big Freddie's fan, too. Huge Freddie. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm teasing you.
That's
teasing.
crazy that you just put that on air.
Yeah, I'm just teasing you. All right, well, we look back at this season, and I know for you, Zoe, you were a first-team All-K-MAC. Was that one of your goals going into this year that you wanted to get, you go into a goal of winning the conference probably and win a district title and things, but was that a goal to try to be first team or just all conference in general?
I mean, in a way,
yeah,
but also I just want my team to succeed in the end. Doesn't really matter what I get at the end of the season if overall we have a good time and we act like a family throughout the entire season.
Now, you guys played your tournament game. It's been a little while ago now, I think. So when you went into the tournament draw, did you have a certain way you wanted to go about it, Morgan? And then tell us a little about that tournament run.
Yeah, actually, it played out exactly how I wanted it to.
Yeah.
I wanted to go up against Delaware Christian. We played them earlier in the season, and it was a really good game. And I think that I wanted to have an opportunity for my girls to kind of get back and just almost show a different side of us. So.
Yeah. So what was maybe the biggest difference between the first time you played them and that tournament game that you played them that year?
I think personally that Delaware Christian came in fundamentally sound, and unfortunately we just couldn't pick up the pieces where we needed to, and we just weren't hitting the floor on their side. And usually that's how people lose, is when things just don't go your way and pieces aren't put together. But I thought Delaware Christian came out. They came out strong. They came out great. I was really impressed by them, the improvement from when we played them the first time to this time. So,
Zoe, for you look at those two matchups. What was maybe the biggest difference for when you played them in the regular season of that tournament game against Delaware Christian?
I would say just the time in between that we had in between those games. I feel like they might have picked up a little bit on how we were trying to run our side of the floor, and I think they just came in knowing what we wanted to do and knew like how we were going to try and do it, and I think they just really focused on maybe putting a stop to that, which at the end it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's a fun season for you guys there. And Avery, just your thoughts on those two matchups with Delaware Christian, maybe the difference between that first matchup to the second one in tournament play there.
I think that we definitely could have came out a little more strong. I feel like we're always a little iffy when we first start. Like, the first match is always kind of hard.
Yeah.
But I feel like, like it was always said, they definitely read us a little more and changed, like, what they were going to do so they could have a better defense against us.
Well, and you heard her mention there about a quick start. How important is it to get off to a fast start when it comes to volleyball? I mean, we talk about it in, like, football. Yeah, you got to get off to a fast start, especially if you run the wing tee, because if you don't, you're in trouble. But how important is it to get out to a fast start?
For us, I think personally, we do very good when we go out and have a fast start, especially against teams that we know that it's going to take a lot out of us to get some wins on the court. But we're also a team that if we lose the first game, we can come back and sweep them in the next 3 because it just depends on the team that I get sometimes. It's either we start out slow and it's like, all right, coach, now we're ready to play 3 games in a row and we're able to go. But other times I get my girls and they're ready to go the first match and we get it done. So it always depends on the feeling that I get from them. But in terms of when you're playing high caliber teams, you always want to come out hard because it's almost like they're not expecting that, especially with Danville volleyball. Like we've kind of been almost under the carpet for a little bit. So for us to come out and be strong, it's almost like a step back. So I think personally, in my opinion, these girls have really stepped it up these last 2 years, and I'm just extremely proud of them for the performance that they've done.
What do you think of the KMAC this year? Was it a strong conference? Was it? I mean, it seems like every year the KMAC has really good teams, and Centerburg's there every year, and Fredericktown's there every year. What do you think of the KMAC this past year?
I mean, I think the KMAC is one of the hardest conferences, and for us to compete in the middle of the conference and be able to win the games and then compete in the games that we have. I think personally my favorite KMAC game that we played was our home Fredericktown game. We went in the 5 with them, and that's one of the best volleyball games I've ever watched my girls play and Fredericktown play, and it was just an awesome time. It's more about that is what you're watching, like what great volleyball you're seeing versus like who's winning and who's losing. I enjoy watching great volleyball, whether we come out on top or underneath. I mean, I would rather come out with the win, but good volleyball is good volleyball.
Zoe, you look back at that Fredericktown game. What went so well for you guys to push them to 5 games? They're a tough team every single year.
I think that was just one of the games where the 6 on the floor just really started to click. That was kind of mid-season where we kind of figured out what rotation we wanted to run, like how we wanted to run our offense. We started closing the gaps on defense a little bit better. But I think just communication that game, I think we were all just so like on the same page, and we were all one big family, kind of thinking the same thing in the end. So I think that was definitely helpful.
Hey, Avery, you look at that Fredericktown game. What stood out to you there?
Yeah, that Fredericktown game was definitely a lot different than the first time we played them. The first time we played them was kind of rough. But I think that also like lit something under us too, that we definitely wanted to come back the second time we played them. And I feel like the energy in the gym that day was so much more better than we've ever had before too.
That improvement from one game to the next, that's what you look for too. I mean, obviously you want, like you say, you always want to win if you can win, but to see the improvement, that's a big piece of that growth for next year's team and the following year, right?
Yeah, I mean, each year my objective has nothing to do with wins or losses. I'm not a wins and losses coach. I'm building a program coach, and if I can grow athletes that know how to handle adversity and bounce back from tough situations, then that's when I feel like my job is doing what it needs to be doing versus like, hey, we won a game. Okay, but how did we handle adversity the game that we lost? And that's my biggest philosophy, and these girls know it. I could care less about the wins and losses. What I care about is their character and how they act on and off the court and how they come together as a family and what works for us and how we can use that to benefit us when it does come down to game time and winning and losses.
What have these two meant to the program? And you guys obviously 10-12 this year. You pick up 10 wins. What have they meant to Danville volleyball?
So, I mean, because it's my second year coaching, I've only had him for 2 years, and I get Zoe back, but unfortunately I lose Avery. She's one of my biggest leaders. She's very, very vocal, and she is just someone that I can always turn to in the midst of adversity and know that she's going to pick us up. I don't have to prompt her. I don't have to say, hey, I need more energy. She's always giving her 100% all the time, and she knows when she needs to pick it up too. I don't have to be that type of person that tells her when she needs to do something and when she's not. That's exactly why she's captain, because she embodies all the characteristics of our facts. And if she didn't, then she wouldn't be the athlete and person she is right now. And I think that losing her is definitely going to hurt. But like I said, I have Zoe coming back, who this year and last year was a silent leader for us. She led by example, and I think that, like she said, she needs to be more vocal, and that's something we're going to work here on the off season. But offensively, she brought it every time. I feel like everyone always had their eyes on Zoe and Avery, wondering what they were going to do next. And I'm just excited for what Zoe's going to bring back next year, leadership-wise and skill-wise. But watching her be a senior is definitely going to be sad. And, I mean, losing Avery is going to be sad. Like, it's just when you spend a whole season and almost a year with these girls, because we do off-season stuff all the time, I mean, you create a bond with these girls, and it's a bit upsetting to lose one and then one's being a senior. So
sure. Avery, what has Danville volleyball meant to you? I know you 2 of the years you got coach here, but what has Danville volleyball meant to you?
Yeah, these past 2 years have definitely been a lot different than the first 2 years I played for Danville. She definitely came here wanting to build something, not just wanting to coach. These past 2 seasons have definitely been my favorite for sure. I've definitely learned a lot. I definitely want to take anything for granted, though. I wish I could still play.
Are you going to go play at the next level?
No.
No, giving it up. You'll play some rec ball, won't you? You'll play some rec volleyball,
Maybe.
Right? All right, get out there and do that as well. Zoe, what has Avery's leadership meant to this team and what she's done here in her senior year?
I would have to say she definitely brought a lot to the team. I feel like if someone was having an off day or struggling that day, you could turn to Avery and she'd always have your back, like, right away. She was definitely one of our main leaders vocally and just by leadership on the floor. Like, she was just a great example for all of our younger girls and even our juniors on our team. Like Coach Spiller said, we had a lot of juniors this year, but I know for me, after watching Avery lead this year, it'll definitely help me next year be able to kind of fill those shoes.
All right, well, we appreciate you guys joining us here, Danville volleyball, and Curtis says he wants to see you line up in the wing tee on the volleyball court.
Oh, my goodness.
No, we really appreciate you, and we'll look forward to catching up next year as well, have you on the program, and best of luck also as you get into the off season, and I know you guys will be working too. Morgan Spittler, Zoe Neiselt, and Avery Mezzi, thank you so much. Danville volleyball. We'll let you go eat now, okay? But thank you guys so much for joining us. Griffin Insurance Monday Night Sports Talk Show live from Pizza Cottage. Let's take this break, and Ed Honabarger's over. This is the longest I've ever heard him quiet in my life. Now I'm teasing. He's about ready to join us here. Appreciate you joining us here on the Griffin Insurance Monday Night Sports Talk Show on WMVO.
Time and Temperature is brought to you by
Knox County Veteran Services, located at 105 East Chestnut Street, Mount Vernon. Stop in and see us today.
So I got this neighbor, Dave. He was kind of curious about my lawn. Grumbled that he bought a patch fix for his yard. Well, it didn't fix the patch. I tried to tell him, call Prescription Turf Care. Come aerate and overseed in the fall. You get a nice, thick, healthy yard next year that goes great with that nice, thick, juicy steak right here. Call 740-397-1203 and ask about a free no-obligation estimate. And remember, if you want a healthy lawn and all the weeds gone, you call Prescription Turf Care.
Call Prescription Turf Care.
Pizza Cottage in Mount Vernon is one of 11 pizza cottages in Ohio. They are among the nation's best performing pizzerias and ranked in Pizza Today. The finest ingredients is used daily. Treat your customers and employees like family and always give back to the community. Offering not only takeout but also dine-in and full bar. Book your group parties today. Find Pizza Cottage on Facebook or go to pizza-cottage.com to begin your journey of tastes.
This is Lorraine from Buckeye Stoves. Let's get ready to rumble. We love football season, and that means stove season is right around the corner. Buckeye Stoves. Check out our showroom with live displays on State Route 95 in Fredericktown. We offer 22 brands of stoves, fireplaces, and inserts. Wood, pellet, gas, and coal. BuckeyeStoves.com. Buckeye Stoves, the cozy way to save.
Veterans serving veterans.
That's what we do here at Knox County Veteran Services. Hi, I'm Kevin Henthorne, your Executive Director.
And I'm Financial Coordinator Melissa Schenk.
And we're here to meet the needs of Knox County veterans and their families.
We can help with emergency financial assistance,
filing of disability and pension claims, VA healthcare enrollment, and even transportation to VA healthcare facilities.
Please give us a call at 740-393-6742 or stop in and see us at our new location at 105 East Chestnut Street in Mount Vernon.
Page One Group in beautiful Mount Vernon has your best interest in mind when it comes to you and your printing needs. Whether it's printing, design, laser engraving, or sublimation, there isn't a texture we can't print on. Promotional products are how you keep people coming back, and that's where we come in. Your business is our business. Page 1 Group, open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Call 740-397-0262 and visit us on Scott Road.
Whether it's your home, farm, auto, business, RV, or boat, Griffin Insurance has you covered. Located at 300 Coshocton Avenue in Mount Vernon, we've been protecting what matters most to Knox County for decades. Call 740-397-7488 today and experience the trusted local service you deserve. Griffin Insurance, coverage you can count on from people you know.
You never thought your child would get their own home so soon, but it needs new wiring pulled and the kitchen could use a makeover. It's time to get in touch with Cubbage Electric and Construction. Give Brian and his team a call at 740-627-8004.
Cubbage Electric and Construction is a proud sponsor for this year's fall sports.
Cubbage Electric and Construction, 740-627-8004.
WMVO Weather Center forecast.
It's currently 50 degrees under clear skies. The wind is from the north at 5 miles per hour. The forecast for this evening, clear skies with a light wind, temperature 43 degrees. Overnight, a few clouds and somewhat breezy, 37 degrees. And then tomorrow, cloudy with some wind, the temp 57. That's Storm Track weather on the heart of Knox County, WMVO.
Time and temperature is brought to you by
Knox County Vet.
All right, we're back here at Griffin Insurance Monday Night Sports Talk Show live from Pizza Cottage. It is our final show of the season in the fall. We will be back in the winter, and we're looking forward to that. But we had to finish the year strong. We brought Curtis on here. We had to finish.
Real
finish
good way to dive bomb.
Finish the year strong, and then we brought Ed Honabarger up here, and boy, we're just gonna have some fun today. Appreciate it. Oh, yeah, you grab your mic. You got to grab your mic, my friend. There we go.
Save the heavy hitters for last.
Yeah, that's what we got to do. You know, we were going to try to get Ed on here, but then it was his birthday, and he said that his wife would bury him in the backyard.
Yep.
If we had him on.
She's mean that way. You got to watch her.
No. I appreciate you joining us here. Hey, the first thing I want to talk about, we're going to talk about playoffs and different things with you guys and everything. I know Curtis will share with you too, but let's talk NIL with you guys because this is something that's come out. There's going to be some voting. I don't think it's the coaches that are voting, but the schools are going to be voting in general.
Yeah.
And about this, what do you think of NIL? I mean, it seems like, you spent a long time at Danville, and it's like, I don't know what business is there. They're very supportive, but are they going to jump on NIL and things? So what do you think of NIL at the high school level, man?
I think it's just going to depend really where you're sitting at. Like, for example, I could see it being pretty maybe predominant in bigger towns, Columbus, Cleveland, maybe where they, the Dublins, maybe the private schools in Cleveland, Cincinnati, where there's a lot of competition for that, About, for example, Danville, Loudonville, you might get a free ham sandwich at the gas station. Is what
$5
Hey, I
bill.
think they'd take it.
Those kids will gladly take it, for goodness sakes. So, get a free candy bar or whatever. But I think that's
how we got you here with the pizza.
That's right. You bribe me with pizza and Mountain Dew, and I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm an easy date.
Yeah.
But anyhow, you go ahead and get that. And I think it might be more like international, not international, but like, hey, there's this really good quarterback in Texas, and I'm in a school in Louisiana.
Yeah.
And if we can get him over there,
Yeah.
I think.
And he's going to be playing in Loudonville next year.
Yeah, playing in Loudonville or something like that. I know.
Yeah.
We're not talking about Ohio, but I could see it being more of something like that. I think it's really turned college football into the wild, wild west.
Yeah.
With all that, nobody.
Oh yeah.
It's all about the Benjamins, like I say now, and it's not about a loyalty or playing for what's on the front of the chest. It's playing for your wallet.
Yeah. And, it even happens in college basketball. I mean, Buckeyes started tonight, and I'm looking and going, Christoph Tilley, he comes over and some different guys that are transferred. What do you think of NIL, Curtis?
I'm probably a lot like Ed. I think it's going to happen in the big cities. That's where it's going to be a problem. There's going to be a problem. I mean, you're going to have some of those inner city struggles back and forth, and there's going to be all kinds of things that happen. I think it's unfortunate, like Ed said, the one thing that makes high school special and college special is you're playing for that team. And you've got guys you've been playing with since you were kids, or for 3 or 4 years, and now you're seniors, and this is the year Ohio State's going to win the championship with our guys. That doesn't mean you don't have people that come in from across the nation at times, but when you got an open portal and it's every other day you're trading for somebody new, for the fans it takes away some of the specialness, because that wasn't the same guy I was looking at 3 years ago that I thought was going to be part of this team, and it becomes pro ball. And while we won't see it, I think, over the next couple of years so strong, I think we're going to see the effects of it 5-10 years from now. It's not going to be the same game.
Well, and we think about it, too. You get an offensive lineman that's like, hey, you know what? I don't have an NIL thing, but a running back's really good. And he says, well, I'm getting all this. And the offensive lineman says, well, I wonder how good you are if I don't block right now. And it can get really muddy, couldn't it?
That happens. That happens every game, every practice. Somebody gets ticked off at somebody, and oops, they throw that lookout block. Look out, here we come.
You kind of think, though, that at college at least, that there's going to come with a contract at some point, right?
Yes.
Look, if we're going to, in other words, we're not going to give you all this money so you can leave in 3 months.
Yeah.
We're going to give you this money, but you're going to commit for the next 3 years.
You're going to commit, or you'll have to pay it back if you leave or whatever.
There's going to be some sort of contract.
I would think, too, I'm assuming OHSAA is still going to have their guidelines about transferring in effect. So basically, you could probably only do that one time. And you're going to be stuck on wherever you go then.
Well, and they already have this roll in right now where they've made it pretty difficult. If you transfer, then you have to sit out the second half, not the first half, and then it incentivizes staying with your team and things like that. But
it used to be you set out the first half, played the second half, but all the AAU basketball kids were getting around that, which they didn't care. They set out the first half, and then there's some of the schools in Cleveland are winning state championships with 14 and 13 records because all those AAU guys who play together got eligible in the second half, and they went on a heck of a tournament run.
Yeah,
and I think the number of times that happens is how does the OHSAA, how are they going to be able to enforce it?
Yeah,
there's a lot of schools,
Yep.
and we all know there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes, and there's no way that they can enforce all of that.
And look, we have some great athletic directors. You guys know that around here and stuff, but to pile that on top of what they already are doing is going to be hard. You almost will have to get another person that solely focuses on NIL, and that's going to be a strain on the school system itself, isn't it?
Yeah, I would think, or you're going to have to get some type of extra help. Whether a teacher's got an extra planning period, they don't teach that extra elective class, and they're helping out with the athletic director or what, but it's going to be like you're going to have to make sure you dot all your I's and cross all your T's.
Yeah. What do you think about that? I mean, Curtis, we've worked with athletic directors for a long time, and they were already athletic directors. I've talked with them. They work 50, 60 hours a week.
That's one of the hardest jobs in the school system, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it really is, because you're dealing, and it's true with a lot of people that work in the school system, but they're dealing with, parents, and if they're teaching on the side of that, and then they got the kids, and they've got middle schoolers all the way up through seniors, and then they got 2 games this weekend and a wrestling match, and they're the ones out there to getting all the mats out and putting them out, and then now they got to deal with NIL and who transferred and didn't transfer. And you take a look at Danville. I think Danville, this is the first time they've had a full-time athletic director.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a new thing.
Yeah.
So it will have a huge effect. Now, question is how long do we see that before it really filters into the smaller schools that are in that situation? But it will.
It will.
It will.
And that's
not,
the thing.
not as much, though,
A lot of
once
people,
every 6-7 years or something compared to a bigger school in a bigger town.
Well, and that's what they've been saying right now is if you're a high-level recruit and saying, hey, I want to go ahead and start making some money right now.
Yeah.
It used to be, hey, I'm going to be going to Ohio State. I'm going to get a free ride in terms of my education. They didn't worry about money. And then it became more and more about money.
See, Tyler, you could have got recruited by Danville for basketball, but you would have never made it over there because you got lost.
With that, I'm about ready to take a break now. Hey, you know something.
He wasn't going to get any NIL money from Garmin, that's for sure.
Yeah, hey, listen, I got one. Hey, they could have sponsored me. That's the only way I would have gotten somewhere.
Well, you know what? That's true. You could have spun it around there. Here's the question: What about you got a kid play? You got a kid playing. I won't name any names, but there's some I'm thinking of even in this conference that they've got D1 schools looking at them, or even D2 schools looking at them. But the D1s and multiples. What's to say that a D1 school couldn't pay NIL money to a kid that's playing in high school?
Yeah,
I mean, there's an angle that I haven't heard anybody talk about.
Another angle
to encourage those kids to go leave the smaller school to go in Columbus and play at a bigger school to play against better competition.
Sure.
And they've given them a pipeline to do it.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is, look, if you don't have the grades, and let's say you do have an NIL deal, and then you're ineligible, then what happens? Now you've got a whole mess on your hands there. So, but we're going to talk some more.
That's called a tax write-off.
Ed Honabarger, Curtis is here with us as well. We're going to talk about the 12-team playoff. Just your thoughts on the postseason, both of you guys so far, and we're looking forward to catching up with that. Again, we appreciate Griffin Insurance, our title sponsor for the Griffin Insurance Monday Night Sports Talk Show, live from Pizza Cottage. Take this break, come back. More coming up on WMVO.
Time and temperature is brought to you by
Knox County Veteran Services, located at 105 East Chestnut Street, Mount Vernon. Stop in and see us today.
Page One Group in beautiful Mount Vernon has your best interest in mind when it comes to you and your printing needs. Whether it's printing, design, laser engraving, or sublimation, there isn't a texture we can't print on. Promotional products are how you keep people coming back, and that's where we come in. Your business is our business. Page One Group, open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Call 740-397-0262 and visit us on Scott Road.
Pizza Cottage in Mount Vernon is one of 11 pizza cottages in Ohio. They are among the nation's best performing pizzerias and ranked in Pizza Today. The finest ingredients is used daily. Treat your customers and employees like family and always give back to the community. Offering not only takeout but also dine-in and full bar. Book your group parties today. Find Pizza Cottage on Facebook or go to pizza-cottage.com to begin your journey of tastes.
You never thought your child would get their own home so soon, but it needs new wiring pulled and the kitchen could use a makeover. It's time to get in touch with Cubbage Electric and Construction. Give Brian and his team a call at 740-627-8004.
Cubbage Electric and Construction is a proud sponsor for this year's fall sports.
Cubbage Electric and Construction, 740-627-8004.
This is Lorraine from Buckeye Stoves. Let's get ready to rumble. We love football season, and that means stove season is right around the corner. Buckeye Stoves. Check out our showroom with live displays on State Route 95 in Fredericktown. We offer 22 brands of stoves, fireplaces, and inserts. Wood, pellet, gas, and coal. BuckeyeStoves.com. Buckeye Stoves, the cozy way to save.
Whether it's your home, farm, auto, business, RV, or boat, Griffin Insurance has you covered. Located at 300 Coshocton Avenue in Mount Vernon, we've been protecting what matters most to Knox County for decades. Call 740-397-7488 today and experience the trusted local service you deserve. Griffin Insurance, coverage you can count on from people you know.
Veterans serving veterans.
That's what we do here at Knox County Veteran Services. Hi, I'm Kevin Henthorne, your Executive Director.
And I'm Financial Coordinator Melissa Schenk.
And we're here to meet the needs of Knox County veterans and their families.
We can help with emergency financial assistance,
filing of disability and pension claims, VA healthcare enrollment, and even transportation to VA healthcare facilities.
Please give us a call at 740-393-6742 or stop in and see us at our new location at 105 East Chestnut Street in Mount Vernon.
So I got this neighbor, Dave. He was kind of curious about my lawn. Grumbled that he bought a patch fix for his yard. Well, it didn't fix the patch. I tried to tell him, call Prescription Turf Care. Come aerate and overseed in the fall. You get a nice, thick, healthy yard next year that goes great with that nice, thick, juicy steak right here. Call 740-397-1203 and ask about a free, no-obligation estimate. And remember, if you want a healthy lawn and all the weeds gone, call Prescription Turf Care.
Call Prescription Turf Care. WMVO Weather Center forecast.
It's currently 50 degrees under clear skies. The wind is from the north at 5 miles per hour. The forecast for this evening, clear skies with a light wind, temperature 43 degrees. Overnight, a few clouds and somewhat breezy, 37 degrees. And then tomorrow, cloudy with some wind, the temp 57. That's Storm Track weather on the heart of Knox County, WMVO.
You're listening to the Griffin Insurance Monday Night Sports Talk Show, live on WMVO. Brought to you in part by Page One Group, Buckeye Stoves, and Cubbage Electric and Construction.
All right, we're back here at Pizza Cottage. This is our final show of the fall season. Griffin Insurance Monday Night Sports Talk Show. We brought in Ed Honabarger and Curtis Newland. I mean, this is the all-star group here tonight, and certainly appreciate Danville.
Brought in the varsity.
Yeah, appreciate you guys joining us here, talking a little NIL. Now, go back to Loudonville. Now, I will tell you something, Ed. When I was in high school, which was many years ago, we played Loudonville in basketball my junior year. In Loudonville and Centerburg were tied at the end of regulation. They were playing basically for a conference title.
Okay.
Played 4 overtimes. Ed.
Oh, geez.
Each time, Loudonville won the tip. They held it until they took one shot. If they made it, they won. If they missed it, we went to another overtime. Literally held it on their hip. They beat us. I'm bitter about that, as you can tell. But no, that was many years ago now. But
did you give up the basket?
Yeah, they did.
No, did you give up the basket?
No, I was on the side. That's why I got into broadcasting, guys. Let's talk about the Loudonville Redbirds this past year. You guys, it seemed like you had a lot of growth there at the end of this year, and you kind of simplified things a little bit.
Yeah, we went to a more running attack. We went back to like wing T instead of from the spread. The big emphasis all year last year was getting in the weight room, getting our kids, pretty young team still last year, getting them in the weight room, getting them stronger, getting them to understand football a little bit better, get their football IQ up. And, try to teach them how one thing sets up another thing, both offensively and defensively. So, we lost 3 games by 1 score or less, and a second game or another game by 2 scores, but we had 7 turnovers that game. So if we don't turn the ball over, we had 25 more plays than the other team. Maybe it turns out different, and we would be playing, last week and maybe still this week. With reaching 27, I think we could have won a couple games. Had we got in, but we didn't get in, and that's the price you got to pay. You got to create your own luck, and we didn't create enough of our own luck this year.
Well, what do you think of the 12-team playoff? You like it? You dislike it? What do you think?
I've just started a podcast, so I was talking to a lot of coaches this week about it. And
I knew he was going to promote it at some
point. Here goes
the
free plug.
Shameless
plug. Blur this out. Bleep it out, okay?
Shameless plug, Mr. November's Ohio Football. Episode 2 on Wednesday.
Yep.
But
oh man,
looks like
I told him he could do.
Looks
that.
like we'll be guests on his show soon, so we can plug our show.
There we go. Hey,
yeah, I'm in.
You scratch my back, I scratch yours, right?
I'm a little scared of that. I'm going to move over.
Yeah. But anyhow, a lot of the coaches liked it. I really wonder that because you've seen it in the NFL for so many years. You see, for example, Indianapolis Colts. Peyton Manning would not play the last game of the season, and then they had a bye. And then so it's been 3 weeks since he played, and he comes out and the Colts would lay an egg. Or just not them, I just think them off the top of my head. They play crappy. If you're on a heater and you're playing really well, as a coach, I want to keep playing. I want to keep on going and rolling. I don't want that week off because you're dealing with high school kids, so you don't know what mentally is going to go on right there. But the coaches I talked to this week, they all liked it. They just worked on fundamentals, gave their kids a day off, like 1 day off, and they'd work more special teams, maybe do more film. Justin Todd set up at Wadsworth. They let their younger kids basically do a big scrimmage last Saturday morning against each other, like for like a trophy and everything, just to keep them engaged in everything because, the 2s and the 3s might not see the field other than special teams. So it was a good way for them to get basically an extra game in. They did sort of like an Ohio State spring game rules type thing, offense against defense. So the coaches seem to really like it. So, I don't have the fortune yet to get a bye or get in the playoffs past couple of years, but wait and see. Definitely, if you're banged up, I think you want that week off. Still, like I say, I'm on a heater, I want to keep playing.
Yeah. What do you think of it?
I didn't like the 6-game playoff or the 8-game playoff. I didn't like.
Boy, he remembers the 6th one.
Well,
so
I was little.
Yeah.
I don't like the 16. It was too many blowouts.
Yeah. Yes.
At the same time, even in 12, we saw blowouts this last week.
Yeah.
However, there are teams, and I know from Western Ohio where I was at, there was some of us, you could win almost all your games and never get in the playoffs. And I think that's a little bit too tight.
Yeah.
So I think this gives an opportunity for you to have something to play for if you got a loss or two in the middle of the season. It's interesting for the fans. It's not going to kill you if you have a blowout week 1 because week 2 is probably going to tighten up.
Yeah.
I think the stinkiest part about it is the bye week. I think I'm not a coach, but just as a professional observer, I think it can make a difference. So I think that's probably the stinkiest thing. But I think 12's the right number right now.
Well, you think about it, a team like Danville won on Friday, and they wouldn't even been in the playoffs in a typical year if it was 8.
No, it was 8.
They wouldn't have been there. So it's an opportunity for them. So we look, though, at this postseason, and you look at the teams that are there. I know I'm going to talk with Curtis. He got to see Ashland, and, boy, that Nathan Bernhardt is a real deal over there.
Yeah. 6'6", 240 quarterback.
And they're going to be playing
going Appalachian State.
Yeah. And they're playing DeSales this Friday night. You talk about a good quarterback matchup.
Yeah.
R.J. Day and him. But what do you see with the postseason? Maybe some of the things that stand out for you, Ed?
I think, well, going back just to the buys, I think we're going to see how that buy paid off for all these upper seeds. Are there any upsets because these teams are just in rhythm from playing last week and the other guys aren't? Or are they just that much physically and just better athletes? Yeah. One playing an 8 or whatever. But as far as matchups, there's a lot of great matchups.
Yeah.
In most of the regions, upper seeds won. You saw a couple regions where you might have 1 or 2 of the lower seeds won. You had a lot of basketball scores. Canton Valley beat Rosecrans like 78-49.
Yeah.
The old saying, I went to a hockey game and a fight broke out, or a fight and a hockey game broke out.
Yeah.
Well, you went to a football game and a basketball game broke out with the scoring right there. So it's high school football, and you never know.
Yeah.
That's why you strap it up and you play.
Yeah. Well, what did you think of Bernhardt? He's pretty good over there.
And Bernhardt, 6'6", 240. I mean, that's a pretty nice size quarterback. Because here's the thing,
big dude.
Yep, Mount Vernon did a nice job adjusting because they knew after the first drive they needed to put pressure on the quarterback. They even forced him into a fumble situation. They got the ball, and then they got that touchdown. The problem was the next drive down the field. I mean, Valentine with great adjustments. Bernhardt starts running the ball out of pressure. Well, it's a lot harder to stop a 6'6", 240 kid like a running back. And so that created real problems for Mount Vernon. They never could get a handle on that because whichever way they would go, they had an answer. And then, he had a lot of guys he could throw to, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was a tough night for Mount Vernon, but what a season.
So I want to ask you a little bit about seeing in the K-MAC. You've still got some teams left. Danville is still remaining. They got a tough trip over there to Fisher Catholic. You've got the Centerburg Trojans are still in there, and Mount Gilead's still in there. You think those teams can make a run, Ed, from what you've seen? I mean, you faced them all.
Yes. Danville, I think, probably don't be surprised if they make the regional finals to play Hillsdale again. Just because the K-MAC is battle tested.
Yeah.
So in Danville, you're the small school there. So now you're finally playing schools your size.
Yeah.
D7 once you make the playoffs, and so you're always prepared. You just got to make sure you get there.
Yeah.
Centerburg, this might be the most I've coached against Centerburg like 20 times in my career. Probably the most complete Centerburg team I've ever coached against as far as having skill, size, and good size.
Yeah.
And when I mean good size is like those kids are very talented up front. Everybody's got some size. Doesn't mean that they're good or great. They, I think, have the total package for them. And to be honest, I don't know how they ever lost to Johnstown. And, I watched that game on film. Johnstown played well. But I think if they replayed that game, I'm thinking Centerburg probably wins it the next 9 times.
Oh, really?
I just think it was one of those nights. And, what happens, and you learn from it and you move on. And Mount Gilead's ground game is so strong, and they're running that wing tee. And they don't want to pass it, and they haven't had to pass it, except for the Centerburg game. That's the big thing, So if they get behind the sticks, they might have a little bit of problems with Colonel Crawford. But they're big and they're physical, and that fullback's going to carry the ball 35 times, and they're going to hit some counters off of it and run some powers with his halfbacks, and they're happy getting their 4 yards every play. So I definitely think they can win a game or two, and I think Centerburg will be there in their region towards the end, too.
You think you'll get their rematch? Because, Centerburg would play Mount Gilead. You think that rematch is going to happen?
Yeah. And that would be good. And it's hard to beat a team a second time.
Yeah.
Because, ask East Knox that in 1999.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They drilled us in the first meeting, and then we turned around in the regional championship and beat them 35-0. So it is the comparison shopping people always want to use doesn't always hold up.
Yeah, I know you saw Centerburg and were really impressed by the Trojans.
I'll tell you what,
we're going to be there Friday night. By the way,
one of the I don't know quickest starts I've seen a high school team for several years was that game Centerburg had against Mount Gilead. I mean, they came out on fire. I made a comment that Andy Colella could literally sit in his lawn chair and watch his boys go at it because they already, in their head, they knew what they were doing. Nobody missed a beat, and they were near perfect in those the first 3 touchdowns. That set the pace for the game. And, of course, you know, we talked about at Mount Gilead, you run the wing tee. It's hard to come back out of that. And Centerburg's just a complete team. They're really, really good. And I agree with you on the other games, too. I think Danville really has a shot. You know, they get past the Devil Dog game, and then, things open up, right?
Yeah. Yep. Now, I'm not going to let you take predictions because you're calling games. So
I'm not giving it.
You're out on this. But what do you think, Ed? I mean, who do you think is going to win? I mean, you got Centerburg could match up with Fort Fry. They're in Division 6, Region 23. That could be a heck of a matchup. I know a lot of people are picking Fort Fry in that matchup. I don't know a whole lot about Fort Fry this year. I know they had Tate Engel that one year, and he was a heck of a quarterback there. But what do you think happens in Division 6, Region 23, or Division 6 in general, maybe with Kirtland? Then you got Division 7. Maria Stein Marion Local's still there. They got a close call a couple of weeks ago.
But by people in their league. I don't know if anybody outside the league can give them a close call.
Yeah.
So I'd look for them. You know, everything's going to run through them. Their biggest game is going to be the regional championship with St. Henry, and that was a close game, a one-score game in the regular season. Still think it's going to have to go through Kirtland in D6.
D6, yeah.
And D5. You know, Wheelersburg's good.
Yeah.
Glenville's going to be there. Is Glenville 5 this year?
I think
no,
so.
they're 4.
No,
Excuse me, they're 4.
Okay.
But they'll be there. Glenville, obviously, in 4. Indian Valley still has the Kinsey kid who's a senior and a phenomenal runner, and they played hard-nosed football. So there's a lot of good games out there.
What do you feel about the Shelby Whippets? You think they can win a state championship?
Shelby Whippets, from everything I'm hearing, obviously the DeVito kid is phenomenal. And I hear it's old-school Oakland Raiders, Al Davis. We're throwing it deep, and you run under it and get it, and that's what they do, and they're very, very good at it. So we'll just have to wait and see, It's just one of those nights. Is the weather going to play a factor? Are you going to have some drops?
That's what I wonder about the bye week, too, because the weather's changed pretty tremendously from the last game of the 10th game of the season to what it's going to be maybe this week. We're going to have some rain in there. I don't know. Does that play into it at all? Not playing in a game situation, even though you're out there practicing.
I know, yes and no. And, two, I mean, I don't know game situations. Sometimes if kids get stuff in their head, it might be more the people watching it.
Yeah.
Because, I've heard spread teams go, well, we don't care if it rains because our receivers know where they're going and the DBs don't, And the running,
but you gotta be
and
able
the running teams are saying, hey, we don't care. We want to pound the ball and we're going to eat it up, blah, blah, blah.
Well, I've heard that you have to run the football, though. You've got to be able to run the football in Ohio in the playoffs. You have
at some point, whether it's just quarterback runs, whether you're a spread team and you're running jet sweeps
It's
and
cold.
quarterback counters out of it. Yeah, you're exactly right. So you have to be able to move the ball at some point.
Or you're 6'6" and faster than everybody else.
Yeah, and run people over. That's what Ridge Durbin did.
Ridge Durbin, and about each playoff game, he gained about 5 pounds his senior year. And by the time that regional, that Final Four game, he was sitting about 250, 255. At 6'3", and just was a bulldozer. Now he's like 155. He lost all that weight.
Why didn't that happen to us?
Yeah, I don't know. I know
I gained weight after school.
I'll answer that. You guys are old. All right, we're just about out of time, though. And big thanks to Pizza Cottage for their hospitality this year. Thanks to Griffin Insurance, our title sponsor, Buckeye Stoves, Prescription Turf Care, Covage Electric and Construction. Page 1 group with the mugs, and I think Danville left and we didn't get their mugs to them.
Yep, no, we did.
Okay, you
Took
did.
care of it ahead of
Good
time.
job.
Yes. Thank you very much.
All right, hey, and thanks to Gary and Derek behind the camera for all their work, and Curtis even coming up here. Thanks to them for joining us. That'll do it for the fall season for Griffin Insurance Monday Night Sports Talk Show, and get ready for winter here in a
a big
couple
thanks
weeks.
to Pizza Cottage and all the staff.
Yeah, you guys, they have been great. The hospitality's been great, and appreciate them as well. Thanks for joining us, WMVO.